from New York. It is, for those of you who aren't in New York, it's 100 degrees here, and it's oppressive. Everybody in New York, I hope you're inside and staying someplace, drinking iced tea and cool. So what I wanted to talk about today and just sort of introduce everybody to was an announcement that we're going to make next week, which give you sort of a sneak peek on that. So next week, the OpenSky feed redesign goes live Tuesday, Wednesday. That will be aesthetically just an upgrade to the design, which we're excited about. And we're introducing a new function into the feed, which is a smile action. And so you've all seen the love button, and people are hitting that love button like crazy. The thing that's coming next week is the introduction of the smile button, which is when you smile on something, it actually just gives feedback directly to the person who took the action. So you could imagine if you're following me on OpenSky and I post I love a product and you like it also, you can and want to share with your followers, you love it, and it goes into all of their feeds, you could smile back at me, which would mean I would just get the affirmation from you. So that's one thing that's coming next week. The second thing I wanted to talk about was really the power of the feed. You know, we've been testing the feed for the last month, and we've seen that the feed's really working, and really working for the merchants that are posting into the feed. And so I wanted to share some of the data with you, and then sort of guide you on what I think the most successful way to use your OpenSky can be. So merchants making posts in the feed, and everybody hopefully knows what that means, right? You have followers. When you add a new product or you share content, it appears in the feed of all of your followers. Merchants making posts in the feed sell 6 times more items than merchants who don't make posts. That's I think pretty big delta. So if you're a merchant, making a post really makes a difference. The next is merchants who are selling average 3 times more posts than merchants without posts. So I think that without sales. So I think you'll see posts really correlate. And merchants with posts average 3 times more dollars than merchants without posts. Again, I think it all makes sense. And the final stat is merchants with sales average 2.5 times more followers than merchants without sales. And the reason why this is so important, right, is OpenSky is the same as Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. It's just the Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn of shopping. And the way to think about that is the more posts you make, the more engaging those posts are, the more shares you'll get, the more affirmation you'll get, and the more sales you'll get. The more followers you have, the more people to react to those posts, and again, the more reactions and sales you'll make. So the nice thing is we are fired up, obviously, as you could imagine, about that data, because it means that we're really helping you grow your business if you're using the tool and using the tool correctly. So next week we clean up the design on the feed, big improvement. We introduce smiles, which we're excited about, and we are going to focus very heavily on encouraging and helping merchants make posts, and the purpose of those posts to be 2 things. One, posts that build the story of your brand. Instagram photos, videos, recipes, the personality of your brand coming through. And the second are posts that are promotional. The only way you can sell on the internet, any place, OpenSky or any place else, is if you provide sufficient value to consumers. And we've seen merchants who are being promotional very effectively drive transaction volume. And so the sort of way to do OpenSky, or my recommendation is, every day post into your OpenSky feed. Share anything you'd like. And I recommend that you alternate between posts that build your brand through inspiration, photos and videos, and posts that are promotional that will drive sales. Remembering that consumers actually want and need value from you, so be promotional with pricing and deals to drive transactions. The second thing is get all of your SKUs live on OpenSky, and then make sure you're making posts sharing the unique and special characteristics of each of them. Again, very straightforward. The third thing you should do is use the sharing tools that are built into the products page of your dashboard. When you go to the products page in your dashboard and roll over any of the SKUs there, you can share right from that place on Facebook or Pinterest or Twitter. So what you should, I think, do is use that dashboard as your place from which you post to those platforms, right? And basically communicate onto Facebook the things you're doing with your goods. And then finally, integrate OpenSky into your email. So at the bottom of your email, every email you send, it says, follow me on OpenSky. Into your website, follow me on OpenSky. Onto your Facebook and Twitter profiles, follow me on OpenSky. The more places you tell people to follow you, the more followers you will have. And remember, we've seen the average merchant add 20 or so followers in the last 30 days just from inside the OpenSky platform, regardless of how many people they invited. So you're growing your community every day on OpenSky. And actually next week, we're launching emails to you, which will be like notifications that you got a new follower. So every time someone follows you, you'll get a little alert that says, hey, this member just followed you, make a post and follow them. And the message is really simple. Every time you make a post, it goes into the feed of all of your followers. And if you do those things, I can't promise you a billion-dollar business. What I can promise you is, like the old adage, if you give a man a fishing rod, he can feed himself for a lifetime. The platform's clearly working and working very well for the merchants who are using the platform to grow their business. Merchants who are using OpenSky like Amazon to list their goods and forget it are doing nothing. And frankly, I don't really want those kinds of merchants because that's not what we're all about. We're about a world where, I don't think Amazon or Google really care about your brand and care about helping you grow your brand. At OpenSky, for those of you who have met me personally and met our team personally, we exist to help you grow your business. And all we're trying to do every day is to build the platform to help you do that more and more successfully. And the way for you to grow your business is to engage with people. And if you think about the way the world is working today, we all are spending our time in Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Pinterest, places where you can engage and follow and have a personal experience. And OpenSky is now that place where you can engage and follow and have a shopping experience. So it makes sense that the world is, history is on our side, I guess is how I would say it. The world is moving towards where we're going, and I would encourage you to make posts, engage followers, answer every question somebody has, really participate actively in the ecosystem, because the OpenSky economy is growing, right? And as that economy grows, you want to make sure you've staked your claim in the community. So at a high level, that's, Will gave me 10 minutes to share what we're doing, and I wanted to talk about next week, where we have the launch of Smiles, the redesigned feed, notifications that you have a new follower, and the data around posts and how powerful they are. So with that, we'll just open it up for questions. So as people have questions, you can either speak up or
dial *6.
Right, thank you. Will says dial *6, and we'll start answering them.
Awesome. We have people that are already taking advantage of the feed, and like John said, they're really reaping the rewards of it. Posting every day, it doesn't take that long to make a post, so it's not, something that's going to, I think the use of your time will you'll benefit from
Yeah, I mean, think about how much time people spend posting on Facebook and Twitter and getting no sales.
Right.
So that's sort of the basics. So folks, who's got a question, holler and ask, or email in to us, and we'll ask them as they come in.
We got lots of people, so I know their questions, and we want to answer them. And I think John makes a good point about how Facebook has been valuable for businesses to be able to post and share things about their products, but it stops there. You can't do anything further. You can learn about the products, but then you have to go to another place to actually find the products.
Yeah, and I love Facebook. I'm an addicted Facebook user. You know, I'm a 44-year-old guy who loves connecting to people and engaging on Facebook. The reality is I've never taken out my credit card on Facebook and bought anything there. I buy a ton of stuff on OpenSky though.
Right.
So one question just came in via email, which was, what do I think the feed will look like 6 months from now, and will it be the center of the experience? So that's a good question. We have talked about the feed actually replacing the homepage on OpenSky. One of the things that's interesting, as you know, is the way to get on the trending page of OpenSky or the homepage of OpenSky is to have lots of activity around your products. And what generally happens is products that trend and get to the homepage and stay up on top get more and more sales. It's sort of like self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit about brand building and sales. So right now, we think the Discover page is working well. I think long term, the feed becomes even more core to everything that happens on OpenSky.
And I think too, it's important to remind people that I know tons of businesses are using Instagram. Anytime you post anything on Instagram, hashtag OpenSky, and that kills two birds with one stone. Your Instagram post automatically pushes to your feed. So, there is your, a great post for the day, a great image.
Yep. And I think one of the things that I heard, it's actually interesting, because I was talking to a merchant who said, oh, this isn't really a store. And it's actually a funny way to think about it. And Chris Keene, who runs product and is actually based in our Portland, Oregon office, was having a conversation with another merchant yesterday, and he relayed the conversation to me last night. He said this merchant understood viscerally that OpenSky really is Facebook or Twitter for shopping, and that if you view it through that lens, you are engaging with people on an ongoing basis to have a conversation about your brand. And again, for those of you who had a chance to get to know me personally, I'm nostalgic for what it was like when you could know every merchant in your neighborhood, right? And the benefit of our platform is you can be local but sell globally, right? Or at least nationally today and ultimately globally, right? So you can be based in Portland, Oregon and make incredible tonic that goes in beverages, this was the person Chris was talking to, and really engage with folks well outside your geography if you engage. And the way you engage is to entertain people, inspire them, and be promotional with them via posts.
Someone just emailed in asking, you had mentioned about the posting promotions, but asked if they could just post any kind of content, anything. Does it have to be about their product, or can it just be something?
Good question. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is bring your brand to life. And that can be photography from Instagram, because I think Instagram is a really good way to do it. Simple to make but beautiful photography is inspiring to folks. But it can be the songs you're listening to, it can be the recipe, it can be the history of your business, the video of how you make your products and the craftsmanship and passion. Storytelling makes a huge difference to engagement. So if you make, I brought home last night the Jam Stand, which is a small business that's based in Brooklyn, makes these amazing jams. And I bought some of their jams and brought them home last night. And I was sharing with my kids that how the story, they have these videos on their website all about how they make the jam. And you really feel like you get to know the entrepreneurs, the women who are running that brand. And the humanity and the creativity and the passion that goes into building your brand, you should not hide. You should use the feed to stand stand up and tell people about that. You know, if you should really decide that you're not a commodity. Your brand, like, there's nothing commodity. Like, be the personality of your brand really should come through, and that, you know, I don't want to be commoditized by the search engine. I don't want to be commoditized by Amazon, and OpenSky should be the place where you bring that to life in a really entertaining and engaging way. And there's some examples, right? There's a brand called the Funk and Fabulous, which is on OpenSky, and I'm following them, and I feel like I know the women who are running that business. They share inspiring photography, great quotes, some humor, and I'm interacting with them. I feel like I'm, you know, this was again a Chris Keene word, I'm popping in to visit with them. And that popping in to visit creates loyalty and engagement that leads to me wanting to buy their products, share their products with people I know, or when it's holiday time, they're on my mind as a great gift to give someone I care about.
Yeah, totally. And I, you know, as working at OpenSky and being hand in hand with the merchant, you know, sometimes I switch over to OpenSky member and consumer and follow these great brands and check in to see what they're doing, and it becomes, you know, and I turn into, you know, one of our core members and consumers. So I see what these brands are doing every day, and I actually feel like, as John said, they're not just a commodity, they're real people that are making this product, that are putting their heart and soul into this product. And I see images of them painting one of their creations or firing a sculpture that they have, or a piece of clay that they've created, and I feel like I get to know those people. And it's like you said, you know, before, when you would pop into the stores, you would talk to the people and you became friends with the people, and you really had an investment in the company beyond just seeing an image or just seeing copy. And, you know, that's how I feel. And if I feel that way, I know that our other members are feeling that way.
We hear it from members all the time. So let's open it up for more questions or email in questions. You know, who's out there who wants to say hi?
*6, just...
Yeah, hit *6 and fire away.
Let us know.
Don't be shy.
Come on.
All right.
All right, we've got one. I've got Pam from Paper, Scissors, Rock.
Hi, you guys. I just joined in because we had a little emergency here this morning, so I might have missed some information. If so, I apologize. And I'm curious about the press event that happened. I just got your email about it, and I saw the pictures. It looked great. But I did not see any pictures of my work out in that room at all, and a few of us were wondering if there was more than one room, and if there's anything else you can tell us about that event.
Sure. So we had a great event with a ton of press. And much more press, honestly, than we thought we would get. And so we was really super encouraged about the response from the press. And one of the things that was the most encouraging, truthfully, from the InStyle, you know, from the editors who were there, and I know Will put out the note of sort of updating everybody, was that actually what they cared most about were the stories about the merchants, right? Like what was most important were the handouts that we shared that said, that you guys gave us the content for, that was all about, this is the story of my brand, this is what my brand is all about. I think we sent packages with the samples that were requested by each of the merchants, by each of the press. They've been getting messengered out of our office like crazy. So I've seen, like, we probably should have taken a photo of them to send you, but there were hundreds of them. And then we'll start to see what they're going to want to cover, you know, what's going to happen, what Marie Claire is going to do, or People Style Watch, or Food Network, all of that. So we should see that. And I know there was photos that they put in that up online of the event, you know, that shared some of the images of. But everything we had, we shared. All the samples got sent out. You know, we feel good about the response.
Yeah, and also for those, this is mentioned in the email as well, for those editors that were unable to attend but expressed interest and, you know, they love OpenSky and they love what we're doing, we made packages, and our PR team put those together to messenger to them so they could have the the literature on the products and the brands as well as samples as well. So, and Pam, I can give you additional information as well offline. And
just let me add one thing about that. One of the things we're actually talking about is taking that event on the road.
Oh, wow.
Doing that in Chicago, San Francisco, LA. So I'm actually meeting with PR folks to try to figure out how and when we want to go do that. So more to come on the PR front.
Should I be concerned that I looked at every picture and my work wasn't in any of them?
No.
Is that the whole room?
No. I mean, I'm sure we have a picture of your product in there, so we will get a photo to you that shows you your product in the room.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Of course, no, you should. I would be concerned too if I were you. Like, I would have that same kind of like, hey, like my kids are away at sleepaway camp, and I keep looking in the photos for where my kids are. So I know exactly that feeling of like scouring a photo looking for something recognizable. So we'll get you data to show you all that.
You guys are great. Thank you.
Of course. All right, more questions. Let's have some more. I've got lots of people on the call, so I know some people.
Yeah, I don't know why people are shy and don't want to talk to me. When we do the open house events here, people aren't that shy.
No. So,
or you can always email. My email address is johnjohn@opensky.com, and obviously everybody gets all of Will's emails, so you can always email him a question as well.
Yeah, anytime. You know my email address, but it's wlewis@opensky.com, so I'm always available. Give me a call, send me an email. I'm happy to help.
So if there aren't other questions, one final thing, right? Next week, we're going to make a big push on giving you updates when you get a new follower, so that email will go out to you. So you should start seeing yourself getting those notifications. Every time you get that notification, you take it as an opportunity to make another post, either a post that's inspiring or a post that adds value. The next thing I would encourage you to do is use the products page of your dashboard to post out to Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and other places, and put the OpenSky follow me language everywhere you communicate, on your business card, on your email sig file, on your website, so that people know where they can engage with you most successfully. Will just said we have another question, so go ahead.
Hey, it's Pamela Gilly. You're on the line.
Hi, John. Hi, Will. It's Pam from Yasa Jatara. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. My question is in regards to the insiders that you have. I've sent, I took some advice and put some in my feed, the @ symbol with the insiders that have loved my products, and I never get a response or any kind of comment on that. And I'm wondering if I know that Andrew had said everybody's working on trying to get the insiders to be more engaged and active, and I was wondering what kind of progress you've made on that.
Yeah, so one of the things we're doing is insiders are also going to be getting the update every time they get a new follower.
Okay.
So that similarly helps drive, participation and engagement. But one of the things they're trying to sort out, honestly, is how to react. What is the appropriate way to react? And so I don't have a magic answer on that one, which is if you @tag Liz Lang and Jane at Shop a Frolic, what or how they're gonna react. I think we sort of have to just let that simmer and see how it develops, because if it feels forced, it'll be lousy for the shopper experience. I think it has to be almost the way an editor at a magazine, you send your samples to the editor includes you in a still life or talks about your brand, but I don't know if they're going to want to, I don't know what the right word is, want to be actively
engaged with the customers.
Yeah, actively engage with merchants. They actually enjoy engaging with customers. I think they sort of like the idea of some balance between impartiality, like an editor, and cheerleading, if that makes any sense.
Okay. No, I understand that. And going forward with OpenSky, where do you see them fitting in? Do you see them becoming more prominent or kind of falling into the background, or just kind of staying where they are?
I think they're a really important part of the ecosystem. just like I think, I think the most important actors in the play on OpenSky are the merchants, right? Because the merchants are the folks that really program the experience by sharing, making great product, because if you make lousy stuff, it doesn't work. But if you make great product and share the story of your brand, then all members serve as ways to amplify it, and insiders basically are the express train, right? If I love one of your products, I've got 425 people following me, and most members don't have fewer than I do, and all the insiders have more than I do. And I think we're going to just have to see how that develops. But it really is, merchants are the core of the platform, creating great products, engaging with people. Insiders serve as editor amplifiers, and members are shoppers and sharers.
Okay. Okay, I get it.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good question.
Sounds great.
You bet.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Of course. If anybody else has any questions, go ahead and it's star 6. And if you don't, that's cool too. Stay cool and go into your feed and make a post. Try it out. Like add a photo to your feed, and then post into Facebook. Hey, I just posted in my OpenSky feed. Are you following me? Close that loop for people that you're using OpenSky as the place to engage socially. And I think that'll be super beneficial to you as you build your OpenSky experience. Most importantly, I say it all the time, but we're really here to help. There's no dumb questions. There's no bad questions. We're completely transparent. We're successful only if you're successful, and only if the world decides that a feed-driven, connection-driven shopping experience is better than a search engine, right? That's what we believe, and we think together we can build a better way to shop than Etsy has, or Amazon has, or Google has. It requires, people connecting and engaging, and so we're building the tools to make that possible for you as simply and efficiently.
All right, everyone, thank you so much again for calling in. Like John said, we're here to help, so email me, wlewis@opensky.com, for any questions you have. And we'll be back next week, so stay cool. After the call, go make a post on your store, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.